G'day mate and welcome back to Factorio with me, Jetty. It's episode 18½, which means a recap episode, also means it's week 3. So where are we 3 weeks into this series, this playthrough, this mod set, this mod pack, this everything. So let's go back to the start and just re-explain in case people are new here what this series is. So this is a modified SpaceX playthrough. SpaceX has been held for a long time as being like an endgame mod. It's something that when you finish Factorio once, twice, you want something to do at the end game. SpaceX is pretty much the go-to mod. Main reason is it moves the challenge of launching one rocket into a challenge of launching about 250-ish. Couple of reasons for that. One, it's the research cost. So this week we've managed to finish Fast and Light Theory A at 200,000 red packs. About to move into Fast and Light Theory B, which is 200,000 packs. And then C, and then D1, and then D2, and then Fast and Light Propulsion System. So the final research at 200,000 of all the packs. So nice and cheap. On top of that, the way the mod actually works is you launch 7 satellites to work out where in the world, where in the great galaxy you are. Then you actually build a dry dock in space, and then you launch each one of these SpaceX components into space, which are all listed here. You launch one of each of those up into space. You say goodbye to it. Thank you very much for coming along. And that lets you build a spaceship in space. Now, each one of these components range from being fairly expensive to very expensive. Protection field is just a cool 100 energy shield Mark IIs. The fusion reactor, nice cool 100 portable fusion reactors like chump change. Habitation life support. Well, look, hull components. We need 10 of those. It's 2,500 low density structures. The spaceship thrusters require 50 speed modules each for some reason. And you need to launch 4 of them because, of course, a spaceship needs 4 lots of thrusters. The fuel cells are like cheap, like 500 rocket fuel. And you need 2 fuel cells, a primary and a backup. Habitation, same story. Only need 1 of those. It has so much plastic in it, it's not funny. Life support, cheap one. Only needs 50 productivity modules. The command center, a good all-rounder, like 50 of every single type of module, just to keep the expectations of the price high. The astrometrics lab is only 300 processing units. Like, there's not many bases that has 300 blue circuits laying around ready to go, just to load them in a rocket and launch them off to space. Along with another 50 speed modules, it's nothing. Finally, we have the last research, which I haven't even done yet, which is the Fast and Light drive itself, which requires 500 of each module. Now, this is, like I said, it's a modified SpaceX series, so I've done SpaceX before. Normally, when it gets to this particular research, it's the last one you launch. Well, it's the last one you research, it's the last one you launch. And generally, what you do is you just gut the base of every speed module and productivity module you've ever made, and you've already saved up 500 efficiency modules. You build the last item, you launch off to space, you're done, you're good. We're doing things a little bit different. I'm launching a single spaceship for every single subscriber of the channel. So, a couple of months ago now it would be, the channel hit 5,000 subscribers. So, just 5,000, I'll do a SubX or a SpaceX launch for each subscriber. I didn't do the maths beforehand to realize how many launches that was. To help you at all, it's like over 100,000. And then since then, the channel has had lots of you guys click subscribe, which look, I appreciate. And on top of that, every single time you click subscribe, you're forcing me to do another complete launch, which is like 23, 24 rockets, which also extends the series. So that's pretty much what this series is about. Me making a very, very, very large base because I need to get through 23 launches per subscriber, which means really I want to get these down to like, ideally, sub 1 minute. That would be perfect. 1 minute to get each rocket or each one of these items built and launched would be awesome. But it means I need to have like 600 productivity modules and 700 speed modules and 500 efficiency modules made per minute. which is definitely a mega base. So what we actually have with this mod as well, or this series as well, is we have Factorio Extended. Factorio Extended is really baseline Factorio with 2 extra tiers added on top. So when it comes to absolutely everything, we get 2 extra tiers added on top. So 2 extra tiers of belts, being our Mark III, our Mark IV, and our Mark V, which move 60 items, 75 items respectively. Assembly machines, again, a Mark IV, a Mark V, our lab, Mark II, Mark III, all that sort of stuff. So just 2 extra tiers of everything sort of help us along, because, yeah, we've got a couple of rockets we need to launch. So, that's really the premise for this one. Oh, on top of that, also, I do have a couple of extra special components I need to launch for supporters of the channel. So that being Twitch subscribers, Patreon members, along with YouTube members, all those sorts of people. They get a special supporter, you know, SpaceX launch. It's a little bit more expensive. Yeah, it's fusion reactors Mark II titanium rather than just steel, along with twice the low density structures, all those sorts of things, you know. Rather than 100 energy shield Mark IIs, it's 20 energy shield Mark IIIs, which actually, in fact, is twice the price. So, yeah, everything's like a little bit more expensive and then some. Oh crap, that's 10 speed modules Mark IV, which are 60 speed module 3s. I didn't even look at that. Oh, and double everything else. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, things are a little bit more expensive for supporter SubX ships. Main reason is, look, they support the channel. At the same time, I support them by giving them the top quality hardware, you know, not just hopefully it's good enough for me to build the ship for you and mail it to you in a galactic post. But yeah, this episode's all about a recap, so I need to cover what's happened this week. We're going to start actually right here where our starter copper patch, our first starter copper patch used to be, with our second starter copper patch used to be, and it's down to 1.5k. We have 144 of these guys waiting here to mine this little bit. There's only 5 tiles, so we can only have 5 of these guys working at once, so maybe it's time I just strip them down a little bit. Yeah, we're out of copper. We're out of copper at the home base, which means I had to start importing copper from elsewhere. So that was one of the changes this week. On top of that, well, let's start the top corner. So, top corner, I upgraded rocket fuel because we had no rocket fuel, believe it or not. So now we have lots of rocket fuel, which is always a bonus. Also started making, I upgraded plastic to have productivity modules because I missed it somehow. I don't know how. Started making rocket fuel because we've actually started making trains, which is pretty much just south of where I'm standing at the moment. One of the big accomplishments this week was this build. So this build I've been trying to get to for a little while now. And the idea of this build is it's going to make productivity module 6s. So we are direct mining from iron, copper, iron, copper. So I've tapped, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 patches to make 16 lanes of either iron or copper. Well, 8 lanes of each. To then convert that into, I don't know how many lanes that is. I think it's 8 again. Yeah, 8 lanes of green circuits to make red circuits, to make blue circuits, to add plastic, to add more copper from another patch. And as we can see from the concrete, there's also already a sizable chunk taken out of some of these. Some of these are doing better than others. Obviously, that didn't get enough concrete on it. Yeah, some of these have got some decent chunks taken out of the front of them to start with. Like, that's pretty bad. That's not so good. Yeah. Okay, so like I was saying, we're making a metric crap ton worth of green circuits. We're up to like 90,000 per minute for the whole base. Converting a lot of those green circuits into blue circuits and into red circuits. Converting all the red circuits into module Mark IIIs, which we're doing like 68 productivity module 3s per minute. That's insane by most people's standards, mine included. And then we're converting those into productivity module 4s, into 5s, into 6s. Because we want productivity module 6s. In the case of your normal productivity modules, normal productivity module gives you plus 10% productivity. Our Factorio extended productivity module 6, well, 5 gives you 16%. No, 4 productivity module 4 gives you 16%, 5 gives you 24%, and 6 gives you 34%. In saying that, I did the maths already. It's a ridiculous amount of productivity modules. It's 6. It's 6 times 4 was 24. It's like 100 productivity module 3s to make one productivity module 6. So I did the maths in an earlier episode. By all means, go back. You should have been watching the whole week, but this is a recap in case you missed it. But it's a ridiculous amount of modules. The base did have 400 productivity module 3s up and running before I built this little build here, which just basically decimated what modules we had. And then some. And I also did the exact same for speed modules. I think it pumped out from 2,000 I had in storage, we pumped out less than 200. Less than 20. It was really bad. So yeah, we built this. Also, during the week off camera, I basically doubled it because this whole thing here produces per minute 0.3 productivity module 6s per minute. I now have 2 of these going, so we're producing about 0.5, 0.6. Massive numbers, but it has given us a couple of advantages. So we can see down here, I have 4 of these builds. 4 of these builds outputting a green belt worth of green circuits. So that's 60 items per minute for, well, what's that? Is that a 36? So for 2 blue belts of material in, I'm getting out 60 green circuits. So that's 45 iron, 45 copper. Our new builds are much more like this, which is 45 items or less in for both iron and copper to getting 90 plus out. We actually have a belt of 90, 75 per second. 90. Yeah, so it vastly let us upgrade production. We're putting 38 in and 29 in to get 90 out. So yeah, that's a full purple belt with, a yellow belt spare out per second. And it's meant that we could replace a whole green circuit build that was massive with just this. Our gear build, exact same story. Went from a massive gear build that went all the way up to here to just one machine going really, really fast. We have this week also been able to do, where is it? Green circuits. I've done 2 more green circuit builds, just putting out a ridiculous amount of green circuits, which we're pumping into blue circuits. Oh, okay. I just realized a mistake I'd made earlier in the week, that I thought the belt's output was 90. It's only 75, even though I knew that and forgot that all at the same time. Anyway, so we've been able to use our bigger and better productivity modules to put out a ridiculous amount of green circuits, to make a ridiculous amount of blue circuits, to also do the exact same over here. We managed to build both these builds this week, which again put out 2 more ridiculous belts of green circuits, which we're wrapping all the way around, and has actually taken over making all our blue circuits. We've actually ditched everything off the main bus. The main bus is now providing basically its resources elsewhere. Also means red circuits got the same treatment this week because I actually had enough modules to build this one build. This one build outputs a full blue belt worth of red circuits per second, which is just insane for full blue belt out for less than a blue belt worth of plastic and green circuits in. So it's just a ridiculous build. Actually, I'm just noticing that this is short on copper for some reason. Purely probably because my belts can't move any faster. Anyway, So that got the treatment this week. This one's about to get the treatment. On the same time, we also did the exact same on the rocket silo. Rocket silo is probably the best return on investment we've had because it doesn't tell you. Oh, there it is. Just under the contents of the rocket silo, its productivity is 136%, which means rather than me needing 720 items for rocket components to actually launch a rocket, it's closer to 400, which is awesome. It also means that we are slowed down an awful lot because that negative crafting speed, because I haven't put any speed beacons around this, because frankly I didn't care when it came to the rocket silo. We need a very slow income of rocket science currently, basically because we're held up by research. Our next our really, really big research is going to be this one at 200,000 rocket science. We've got, what's that, 81 to box? 81 to box. We've got a little while to go. On top of that, we've also had the base start stockpiling SpaceX components because I do not have a fast and light drive unlocked yet. So we've got, 7 of these and 22 and 51 and 73 and so on and so forth. All the way along the list. On top of that, over here, I've got one more building over here, which is the one that we need 10 of, so I've added just a few boxes around it to keep it busy. Actually, we're going to remove a fast inserter, and we're going to give you a stack inserter, because you deserve a stack inserter. So yeah, there's been a couple of little upgrades and builds this week. Finally, to round out the week, the last thing we managed to do is we started getting trains up and running. So the plan is this week, right at the start of the week, is to do the research for Train Supply Manager, which I haven't done yet. And I'm going to, as we do it, talk through it. It basically allows a mod to take over controlling my trains. So my job then becomes much more the logistics of setting up outposts, setting up smelting areas, setting up, assembly lines, all that sort of stuff. And it takes over actually getting the ore, the plate, whatever it requires from point A to point B. That train track's missing. Fixed. Okay. And I haven't looked at power so far. No, power's okay. That's the other thing we did. I had to double power off camera because it turns out adding autosave. You have got me like 3 episodes in a row now. Adding 500 beacons with 1.3k speed modules and 700 productivity modules required just a little bit more power than what I had available at the time. So yeah, the other thing we've started using is we did make, like I said, about 20 speed module 3s. If you remember from Factorio class, your speed module... No, we made 20 speed module 6s. Your speed module 3s give you a 50% speed module speed boost. Your speed module 6s give you 170% speed boost. So we have your standard, standard 12 beacon design with productivity modules in this particular lab, that particular lab, which has a research speed of 2,140%. This one has just a couple of speed 6s in around it, which now has a speed of 5,500%. So yeah, a little bit faster because those beacons are giving one hell of a boost. But yeah, that's where we're up to for this week. Some good progress, some more progress to go. Like I said, next week's going to be about trains, outposting. We also did, that's the other thing we did. We did an itty bitty tiny little artillery shell build, mainly because each train I'm planning on putting an artillery wagon on the back of. So every single outpost train, when it's out collecting its ore or whatever it is, it's going to be taking care of the local wildlife around it. And that's how I'm going to be dealing with biters. Just surround the outpost with lasers, common as hell, and then throw in some artillery wagons and just have them just obliterate all the neighbors as we go. We also set up an engineering train. That was actually the last episode, or outposting train, the last episode. So I configured that whole train, which we're going to play with, like I said, next week. That's pretty much it. Next week's all going to be about continue to expand, continue to push things forward, continue to launch more rockets, many, many more rockets. We're up to 126 launched already. We have all of the SpaceX done except for the FTL drive because it's still hidden behind 2, 4, 6, 8, a million science packs. Yeah, a million science packs. It's a little while away. We'll probably get it done in a couple of weeks. But on top of that, I think I'm going to end up boosting our labs, adding more productivity modules, adding more speed modules, and maybe even look at increasing the speed of what we're actually producing science at, because I just worked it out. It's a million packs, and that's ridiculous. Anyway, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode where, yeah, trains, outposting, all that sort of fun stuff. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Bye.